Hello and welcome to our very late delayed match here between Otter Oxide and Blazing Pegasus for the minors of Owlet Stage 2, Week 2, Day 1. We're getting started as soon as possible here now that Owl is finished so we can stream this live. And we're going to get into match as soon as we can. So Empress, what can you tell me about these two teams and what do you think is going to be happening here?
Well, I feel like a lot of GOATs is going to be happening because I find that tournament comps tend to mirror owl comps, which is basically a zoo it's a petting zoo, right? It's a goat petting zoo. But
Absolutely.
sometimes I'm surprised. I'm always going to root for basically the unorthodox comps with maybe like Sims, Bastions, Hammonds, just the unexpected, some Sombra thrown in. So I don't know if I'm really excited to see if any of these teams want to switch it up or if they're gonna stick with the tried true. Bah, no wait, that's a sheep. What? How? There we go. There we go.
Know. But I do say that Blazing Pegasus has a member named Cornish who seems to really like the Symmetra, so that might be getting pulled out at some point here. Probably mostly on 2CP, I would think. Hopefully not too much on control, though. If they do get it early control, that could be really good. But we're currently now in Nepal, heading into Shrine here, and what are we seeing?
I see a Hammond. I see a Bastion. I see a Sombra. So I'm already a happy camper. Just remains to be seen if I'm being debated or not.
And Rudolph makes the switch to Zen immediately.
Bait.
Unlucky, but we do have 2-2 on each side coming out here. Though actually
we have a 1-3. We have a 1-3 too.
On the Otter Oxide. Xavier is the first to get to that point. He's just going to hang out there with his Harmony Orb on his ball. He's going to roll around as the slower comp from Blazing Pegasus rolls up onto the point. And he's going to start spinning around. Vagabond gets an early pick onto Sakura. That's going to be tough for Otter Oxide to come in here now, losing that Genji immediately. But Bird is going to pepper in rockets from the backside as Snoop Dogg Douche looks for a pick on the left, or the coastal side here. And early control is going to go over to Blazing Pegasus. They're going to establish themselves on the point. Xavier is just going to stall this out a little bit. Oh, he gets a pick onto Sir Derps a lot. That's a massive pick there for the Reinhardt to go down. Snoop Douche is going to take out Bird in the sky, however, and try to capitalize on this. Quiet Game is going to take out Sakura as well. And with Rudolph falling down here to Vagabond's Dynamite, I think that's going to be a stabilization here on the point. Though as I say that, Xavier does get back in, but not in time to contest this any further. He's going to go for that health back, and they're going to reset.
Yeah, so I think what Otter Oxide should have been doing with their solo tank comp is basically try to overwhelm them, as opposed to playing.
Absolutely, there was very much a poke game that was going on the side of Otter Oxide, really trying to sort of pepper in those rockets and those shots in. But they really should have dived more forcefully. And as I say that, Sakura does just that, going in on Cornish, and Famsu follows up on Snoop Douche, and with Sir Derpslot getting overrun by the ball as well as the Sombra there and everyone else, the members that will fall, and we'll have a retake by Otter Oxide.
That was an excellent snipe by Lit Cat on the Ashe high ground there. I like that Ashe positioning. Unfortunately, it just meant that she's not able to easily contest the point or go in unless her tanks are on the point. She does have the Bob coming up soon, so I really think they're probably going to hopefully save the Grab Dragons and maybe initiate with the Bob since they have that up right now.
Absolutely. Both teams have a lot of area denial here, especially with the mines on the Otter Oxide side. We have an early trance being popped by Cornish here, as well as the Bob rolling to the point. He's going to try and take control there, as well as he's got Nano boosted, so that forces the trance from Rudolph in response, as well as the Dragon Blade. Everyone's popping ults now with the minefield coming up by Xavier. Sakura gets 1, 2, and is looking for a third. Bird is chasing out Cornish and takes him out, and that's going to be Otter Oxide winning this fight.
I have to admit, I'm really puzzled as to why they opened things up with a trance for Blazing Pegasus. Like, they're going to have the Genji Blade, so shouldn't you be saving trance for that?
It could be that Xavier forced it with that hand initially.
Maybe. But they do switch over to the Brig now, which is more effective at, countering the, at least 3 of these heroes.
Yep. Her huge EMP comes out, hits 4 members, followed by the barrage, but Bird gets taken out immediately after taking out Sir Derps a lot. Famsu's going to follow up in a quiet game, and Rudolph is going to take out Snoop Douche, so it looks like Blazing Pegasus is going to back out once again.
I really, really like the ults that they used on the side of Otter Oxide, where they had the EMP barrage combo, and then before that they did the Nano Blade. So their ult game is good here. Oh no! Sakura gets
Absolutely.
taken
Oof.
out, or Sakura
Vagabond
takes out
really
Vagabond.
wanted that top perch, and Sakura read that like a book. They're going to go in now with the Ana super low, but has that Nano boost. So Derpslot is going to drop Sakura onto the ground, and Cornus is going to follow up on that, as well as killing the Sombra. So this is a good opening for Blazing Pegasus now, especially as the Nano boost comes out of the Reinhardt. But this pesky ball is spinning around the corner. He's still quite healthy, especially as the trance comes out to keep him sustained. He's going to take out Sir Derps a lot with the help of that trance. Snoop Douche is going to commit the dragons, but not going to find any value out of that one, as they just clean up on the point, and Otter is going to take that. Really well done by them.
Yeah, honestly, Snoop Douche could have used dragons probably 3 times, and still like have the final dragons for the Grav Dragon combo, because he had it pretty much the first fight.
And
I think
really tough, I think, getting charged and like generating that grav going
with
into that single.
well, look at the other comp. Like, who is he? Like, how are they going to get a Grav? Like, you know, with who are they going to get it on? A.
Yeah.
And B, like, how are you going to generate your ult charge with the amount of like squishies and just, you know, the rolly ball?
Exactly.
It's really, really hard. So
Yeah, honestly, I think solo grabbing the ball at that point is probably the best use of it.
May. Are you seeing this May? I'm liking this May.
We got some snoats on the field, kind of. With the May replacing the Brig instead of a tank. But hopefully, yeah, they should be able to get some good walls in this one. We do have the 2-2-2 coming out from the side of Blazing Pegasus. They're sort of tried and true. The wall comes out, splitting some members off. They're going to have to rotate around as the members of Otter Oxide are kind of split here. They regroup on the side around rallying around Xavier XE. And a nice wall splits off Sir Derps a lot. If they can capitalize on this will be a very dead Reinhardt. He gets frozen, antied, and taken down immediately. Snoop Douche does get a couple kills here onto the May and the Zarya, but it looks like Blazing Pegasus gets back out.
Yeah, unfortunately on the side of VP, the 2 that were taken out were the big beefy tanks. So without a presence on the point, it made it really, really hard for them to contest, even though they did get 2 counter picks.
Rudolph gets a nice early kill for Otter Oxide here, as they're trying to still move in without their Hanzo. Vagabond gets slapped in the back, but is going to be just fine. Maywall splits off the tanks from the rest of the members. Corners is going to jump in there to try and keep the tanks alive. A Shatter comes out, but doesn't find a whole lot of pay there. Still gets the pin onto Bird, however, before getting knocked down, and he's going to get pinned, but the bubble is there. But Sakura does take out Sir Derps a lot in the end, as well as Vagabond, fighting for a double kill. Reliable Res pops that ult and immediately gets taken down by Famsu. And a really good engage there, and that's going to be Otter Oxide holding up Blazing Pegasus.
Oh man, that was just unfortunate that the Moira all just found no value there, because she popped it like, I don't know if it was a panic pop or it was, yeah, that was really, really unfortunate. But they do have sound barrier still, and they can engage with Bob. So we'll see what happens here in this fight.
Absolutely. Sir Derpslot gets walled off yet again and gets taken down immediately by Little Cat as the final pull there, but it was really a team effort, and I think Blazing Pegasus should just back out from this. And they do, as well as getting those cleanup kills. Really, what are the win conditions here for Blazing Pegasus into this next fight?
They basically need to get a huge Grav Dragon combo. The sound barrier is not going to be able to negate it, but if Sakura is able to eat it, then that's pretty much the game-winning condition gone.
Oh, and the Maywall comes out to block them all off, and they can't even touch the point. That's an unfortunate end to the map there, but Otter Oxide will take it 2-0 on Nepal.
Yeah, they used the May very, very effectively.
Absolutely, that was very impressive. All around, I think Otter Oxide is functioning really as quite a cohesive unit.
Yes.
Yeah. They really, you know, like, they started out kind of slow on that single tank Hammond comp, but then they really adjusted to it and played it really well later in that stage, and then, you know, this May is definitely something that they've practiced, I think.
Yes, it looks very, very practiced. I did, like I mentioned before, like their rotations on the map prior on Shrine. they knew exactly what ults to use. Like after like each engage, okay, this is what we're gonna use this fight. This is what we're gonna use this fight. And with the fact that like the Blazing Pegasus Zarya just unable to like farm grab effectively and get a really big grab off for the dragons, it just like that was their win condition, right? That was one of the fights that one of the ult combo that they were dependent on to win the fight. So yeah, it just didn't feel to get any sort of value there, and they didn't even like have it, I think, at the very
Absolutely.
end.
Yeah, the sort of story of ult value that came out of those two sides is quite lopsided. Where Otter Oxide was getting quite a bit of value out of their ults, but Blazing Pegasus wasn't finding much pay dirt, so to speak.
I am actually surprised that the Hammond solo tank Hammond worked, but it just the way they played it, I think, was very, very impressive because Blazing Pegasus was just kind of like, what? There's a Hammond in front of my face. This is like, I can imagine the 10 conversation, right? Guys, there's a Hammond here. Guys, there's a Hammond here. Guys, oh, I got moved out of prison by the Hammond.
And I'm
Uh,
sure that there's also that debate that always rages in teams of like whether you focus the Hammond, you ignore the Hammond. It looked like they were very hesitant against the Hammond, right? So I'm assuming that there was some call that don't focus the Hammond, just leave him be, right? But unfortunately, he was doing a lot of pressure to the tank line, and especially the Reinhardt from Sir Derpsalot was getting booped around, taken out. Like the
yeah,
Otter Oxide's Hammond was doing a lot of work against
yeah.
that Ryan.
So most of the time, I would tell my team not just to ignore the Hammond. I think I've told you guys that a lot, just to
Yes.
ignore him until he can't be ignored anymore. But you have to know when to focus him and when to disengage and focus on other people. So like the fact that they didn't have a shield on the other side would have been like an easy shatter, right? You think, except because they had 3 DPS, the Reinhardt like who is he going to shatter? They're all so spread out. Maybe if you get both of the healers, it might be like, it might be winnable. But yeah, it was just like a highly mobile comp versus a more sort of like tried and true, like steady comp.
Absolutely. So now we
Which
move into Route 66. Are we going
I
to see
think
similar things here?
I think it's for sort of payload maps. Really depends on each team's playstyle, but 222 might work better here. But like because you're always taking fights, like and maybe you're just leaving one person on the payload, like disrupting disruptors like Hammond and flankers like the Sombra and the Genji or the dives, I think could also be very effective. So I really hope that BP can sort of like, adapt to Otter Oxide's playstyle and, find a suitable counter for it. I'm actually really, really interested to see if they're going to run a pirate ship.
Ooh, they did, tease us with the Bastion earlier, though that was Rudolph, their Zen player. But that might be... Oh, Cornish is already on that Bastion. I'm excited. I probably shouldn't be, because I think it's probably a bait. But, yeah, especially since Cornish seems to favor that Lucio quite a bit. And as we get the defense set up here, we're seeing another Hammond come out inside of Otter Oxide here.
So I believe was Sakura the Hammond player, and no, they switched out. I don't think Bowls of Bowls played last time.
The Hammond player was Xavier EXE.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is going to be a different style of Hammond, right? This is going to be an off-tank kind of Hammond. But this is a very highly mobile dive that they have coming out from the side of Otter Oxide.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see the synergy between the main tank of Bowl of Bowls, which is a Pog name, and Sakura.
Absolutely. So we're having have 360 come out here and scout everything out. See this dive comp, and we'll see what they decide to run into it. Whether they stick on this 222 Sombra Doom that they have hovered. And they're really debating about this, and they make the swap over to Pharah, so we're going to see a Sombra or a Pharah Reaper coming into this dive. Interesting. So there's no real lockdown, but lots of damage coming out from 360. As Vagabond is going to start peppering the Widow in the back from Bird, hit one of those directs, misses the second one, but just barely. And we're going to have Blazing Pegasus move over, take this corner on the cart as Otter Oxide postures above on bridge. Coming down, diving onto the Zen. Cornish manages to evade with the help of a bubble, but not for long. Pie Ninja is going to take him out. Rudolph is going to get the kill into the 360. A charge out from Sir Derpsalot is not going to save him, and Blazing Pegasus is going to go back to spawn and potentially back to the drawing board.
Huh, that was just a well-coordinated dive. Again, like Sakura goes in, or Hammond goes in, and Bowl of Bowls just sort of follows with the damage from everybody else being there.
Absolutely, though with Pi Ninja being down there, he had to jump off the cliff there to get his mech back. It's actually a 5v6 here, or 6v5 in favor of Blazing Pegasus. So this could be their opportunity to get some good cart progress. The dive comes in from Sakura onto Sir Derpsalot. He's going to pop the mine, Sakura will, and take out Quiet Game. Absolutely just deleting that for Zarya. And that's going to give more than enough time for Pi Ninja to get back. 360 does get some nice kills onto Bird and Disappoint in the backline. He's on cart now, pressuring out the Winston, forcing that Primal Rage as Vagabond is peppering rockets in there. Rudolph is going to take out Sir Derpsalot, and it looks like just an all-in-all brawl. 360 has so much sustain on this cart here with both the Mercy as well as his lifesteal, but he's eventually going to fall to Rudolph, and Blazing Pegasus will back out.
I'm actually really surprised that they, I really like the move by the DPS to sort of pincer them. I think that if Reliable Res had popped Valk, and 360 had popped his die, like it probably would have been winnable.
I think so as well. And so we have Bird popping his sights now, so they know exactly where they're coming in. The dive comes out as well as the die. Vagabond's going to pop the Pharah ult as well, taking out Sakura. Bowl of Bulls does take out Cornish in that dive, however, so it's now and with Bird taking out Reliable Res, that's no more support on the side of Blazing Pegasus. The Zen has just now respawned, and Cornish is going to swap over to the Ana now. But with Rudolph on the cart, stalling it out, 360 can't quite get to the Winston on the high ground. He's just sort of peppering shotgun shells in there. Sakura comes back with a huge minefield on the cart, and Vagabond is going to fall immediately, and the tanks from Blazing Pegasus are actually going to be quite separated here. Pi Ninja is going to take out 360, and with a charge out from Sir Derpsalot, and he actually manages to make it out. So they're going to reset, but Quiet Game is going to fall. Oh, a poor stagger onto Cornish as Bird takes him out. So what can Blazing Pegasus do at this point to really come in here?
Well, there is no shield, but I'm not exactly sure who's going to shatter.
He shatters the Hammond rather, but falls immediately as a result. The Winston bubble doing a really good job to block that. Quiet Game grabs the cart, but there's no one on it, unfortunately. Sakura does get momentarily delayed by it. They're going to get out of it immediately. The Venom Mine takes down Vagabond in the back. Bowl of Bulls is going to clean up 360. This should be a nicely cleaned up fight for Otter Oxide now, as the members of Blazing Pegasus are anti on the cart. Rudolph will kill a Quiet Game, Sir Derpsalot will fall to Pi Ninja, and that will be a first point hold here for Otter Oxide.
I think they really should have just switched off the Rein Zarya on the side of Blazing Pegasus. I'm not gonna lie, I mean, again, who is the Rein going to shatter? He got one, and that's great, but there was no focus from after the shatter to sort of like capitalize beyond that.
Absolutely, running a Reinhardt into that triple dive is just going to be kind of an exercise in futility. I would really like to see more like a dive come out from Blazing Pegasus to try and deal with the squishies in the backline, as well as just have that mobility and not be so reliant on the dive, like basically welcoming the dive from Otter Oxide into that Reaper, which they can just roll away from the Reaper in a lot of cases.
I feel like there is a disconnect between the tanks, the DPS, and the supports on all three fronts, basically on the side of BP. When Cornish got dove, as Zen, I don't think the peels were there necessarily in time. It could be just results of maybe poor positioning there. Just bad.